10 NBA players who passed away and will be missed. Every day, we are reminded of how short life can be. Death, they say, is no respecter of man, and truly, it is not. Over the years, we have lost so many notable names in the world of sports, such as Diego Maradona, Kobe Bryant, Emiliano Sala, and so on. No doubt, many of these players had significant impacts on different aspects of our lives and will be greatly missed. In today's video, we would like to remember a few of the NBA players who have passed away and we miss dearly. But before we move on with the video, if you're new to this channel, please take a second out of your time to hit the subscribe button on your screen and become a part of this YouTube family. Now that you're a part of the family, let's dive right into the video. Len Bias. Len Bias, who was a student at the University of Maryland, was already being drooled over by NBA scouts due to his unbelievable potential. He was so talented that he was already being compared to Michael Jordan before he stepped into the NBA. That was literally the highest praise you could give anyone, not to mention someone that young. In 1986, the defending champions Boston Celtics drafted him with the second overall pick. Everyone was excited about the new ace that the Celtics has up their sleeves. Unfortunately, nothing went as planned. Bias had only just returned to Maryland after being drafted and celebrated with some of his college teammates. There was a lot of drugs and alcohol at the party, and shortly after the party, Bias started to convulse. On June 19, 1986, he was rushed to the hospital, and after multiple resuscitation attempts, Bias was pronounced dead shortly before 9 a.m., brought on by drug use. We don't need any reminder about how many promising souls we have lost to drug overdose. We sincerely hope something is done to ensure that nothing like this ever repeats itself. Len Bias' death was a huge blow on the NBA universe. Next is Drazen Petrovic. When Drazen Petrovic made it to the NBA, not many were certain that he belonged there, but Portland chose to draft him in the third round. 3 years later, Petrovic joined the Portland squad and played for 2 seasons before moving to the Nets for 2 more seasons where he became a star, with an average of 19.5 points and 2.9 assists per game in New Jersey. Petrovic was playing with the Croatian national team in Poland after the 1992-1993 season and was considering leaving the NBA at the time. Early in the morning of June 7, 1993, Petrovic was involved in a car accident on the Autobahn in Bavaria. The basketball player was sleeping in the back seat of a vehicle that was struck by a wayward truck in the rain, killing both he and the driver. Petrovic was 28 years old at the time of his death and had plenty of career ahead of him. Next is Reggie Lewis. Reggie Lewis graduated from Northeastern and was the 22nd overall pick by the Boston Celtics in 1987's draft. He went on to impress as his performance level rose dramatically and quickly. At the height of his career, Lewis was an all-star and averaged 19.2 points and 4.7 rebounds per game, while missing just 9 games in his final 5 seasons. Lewis was practicing with the Celtics in July 1993 when he collapsed on the court of Brandeis University. Lewis had suffered a hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, and paramedics weren't able to resuscitate the young star. There were rumors that cocaine use had led to Lewis's heart problem, but coroners denied these rumors. The 27-year-old's jersey was retired by the Celtics in 1995 as a tribute. Now, we have Eddie Griffin. The death of Eddie Griffin was a big hit on the entire NBA and sporting world. The standout performer at college had the potential to be one of the next great players who would dominate the NBA, but he never could fulfill his true potentials. He started his career brightly in Houston, but he struggled with alcoholism, which caused him to miss the entire 2003 to 2004 season as he entered rehab. He was picked up by the Timberwolves in 2004 and began to show promise, but in 2006, he crashed his car whilst intoxicated and would be later released by the Timberwolves. In 2007, Griffin died after ignoring a railroad warning and driving through a barrier onto the tracks where his car was then hit by a moving train. Griffin had to be identified through dental records, and he had more than 3 times the legal alcohol amount in his system. During his career, several people tried to help Griffin, but he was clearly battling demons and was just 25 years old when he passed. Next is Pete Maravich. Pistol Pete, as he was commonly called, was undoubtedly one of the most talented offensive players, dribblers, and playmakers in NBA history. He averaged over 24 points per contest and scored in a variety of ways, while also making outstanding plays on both ends of the floor due to his handles and ability. He played basketball until the very last day of his life, passing away due to a heart attack after a pickup game at the age of 40, leaving behind a lot of highlights and, of course, an inspiration for younger guards that wanted to dribble and pass like Pistol Pete. Next is Dennis Johnson. Dennis Johnson was actually one of the men responsible for the Boston Celtics and their success and a couple of championships, even on a team that also featured Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, and of course, Larry Bird. Making 9 all-defensive appearances, 5 All-Star games, winning 3 rings, and earning 1 Finals MVP, Johnson was a defensive specialist. He was once described as the best backcourt defender in NBA history by Magic Johnson. Sadly, he passed away at the age of 57 due to a heart attack while coaching the Austin Toros of the NBA D-League after spending 13 successful seasons in the NBA. Next is Manute Bol. Sitting at 7'7" and completely forcing opposing players to change their shots due to his outstanding shot blocking ability, with over 3 swats per contest in 9 seasons in the NBA. Manute was never a dominant player in any other aspect of the game, but the fact that he actually averaged 3.3 blocks in less than 20 minutes per night, something that would translate to 6.4 per 36 minutes, was exceptional. Sadly, he died at age 47 due to problems with his kidney, but at least he had a full NBA career while also helping a lot of African ballers in Sudan like Luol Deng. Next, we have Ricky Barry. The death of Ricky Barry remains somewhat of a mystery. After a successful rookie season with the Kings, Barry was found dead in his home from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He had left a suicide note and was arguing with his wife, but there is still plenty of mystery surrounding his tragic passing. He had a bright future ahead of him. He was earning a lot of money, had a nice house and car, a beautiful wife, and was clear of drugs and alcohol. Next, we have Lorenzen Wright. Lorenzen Wright's death remains shrouded in mystery, with the case being investigated as homicide. Wright was the 7th pick in the 1996 draft and was selected by the Clippers. He would also play for the Hawks, Grizzlies, Kings, and Cavaliers, spending 13 seasons in the league and proving himself to be a valuable asset. He announced his retirement in 2009, and on the 18th of July 2010, he left his ex-wife's house in Tennessee and was never seen or heard from again. His body was found 10 days later in a wooded area, and it was revealed that a 911 call was made from his phone the day after he went missing. With a dispatcher stating that gunshots were made during the call, the case has never been solved. Kobe Bryant. And finally, we have the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant, one of the most painful NBA deaths in history. The legendary former NBA basketball player died at the age of 41 in a helicopter crash. Bryant was with his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna Marie Honore, or Gigi, and 8 other passengers on board the helicopter. Bryant was one of the greatest players to ever play in the NBA, retiring after a long 20-year career with the Los Angeles Lakers in 2016. He was a 5-time NBA champion, 2-time NBA Finals MVP, and 18-time NBA All-Star. Kobe might be gone, but his legacy lives on. We'll have to end the video here. Please hit the like button and turn on your notifications so you will always be the first to know when we post a video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.